It's Friday, March 14th, let's talk PlayStation. So let's kick off this news week with what is perhaps the biggest news story to date of all time since mankind. It certainly blew my mind, it's going to blow yours. Sony is changing PlayStation 3 box art. So from here on out, new releases are going to be featuring this new box art, which is pretty much the same thing. It's just that the header is now going to be blue, which is, Sony's forward approach with all their PlayStation products, trying to keep it consistent, get that brand recognition out, like blue goes with PlayStation. So they got blue PS Vita cases, blue PS4 cases, and these new PS3 cases are going to have a blue header. It is my understanding that the new cases are still going to be featuring, like, the Blu-ray style cases where you've got this sort of blank space of plastic up here. I could be wrong about that. It could go PS4 style where it's just, the full-on cases being used for cover art, but I could be wrong about that. I'm not sure, but I do think it's still using the Blu-ray style cases. And if you remember, back when the PlayStation 3 launched, this was the box art, and it used the Mata font, is what this font is officially called, or Spider-Man font, because that's the font that they used for the Spider-Man movies. New box art, exciting stuff. A lot of my closest friends will tell you that when Sony changed the box art for the PlayStation 3 for the first time, and then you turn it sideways and now it's got a new emblem, I was unusually angry about that because I'm so freakish about my collection. I want my games all perfect, and I just want it all. It was weird, dude. It's such a dumb problem to have, but man, I was just like, really? You're changing the box art? Now they're doing it a third time. For real, dude. Anyway, there's way more important stuff to talk about, actually, like PlayStation Now. So if you go to Gaikai's official website, of course, Sony purchased Gaikai, there's a picture up there that will basically kind of like tells you, kind of foreshadowing the kind of prices we might be seeing with PlayStation Now. There's, like I said, a little picture. It shows, like, Uncharted, and it shows, like, how much you could rent it for, or, stream the game. So as you can see, Uncharted 3 could be streamed, for example, for $4.99, and then Far Cry 3 could be streamed for $5.99. And that's just a picture. There's, like, no official answer to this, or Sony hasn't talked about it, but this is on Gaikai's official website, so we could possibly see pricing like that, which, would that be something you're interested in per title? We still don't know about an actual subscription service, so you can be open to all of PlayStation Now's library. We don't know any of that. Speaking of things we don't know about, if you go to your PS3 and you go to the PlayStation Store right now and you check the listing for Catherine, there's actually a weird option where there's buying choices. You go to it, and there's a 1-day free rental and a 7-day free rental. Now, apparently most people, and myself, have confirmed this is only for PlayStation Plus users, and at least when I tried it, it wasn't working. But if you try and download it, and then you go to your services list in your account management, Catherine is listed as Catherine PlayStation Now, which is interesting. Which kind of shows that Sony's kind of working already on the back end to get PlayStation Now ready. This is a new title that we didn't know about that would be supported on PlayStation Now if this is what is to be expected. Is this like a new thing? Like, our rental is going to be a new thing on the PlayStation Store? We don't know anything just yet. Catherine's the only title we know about as of recording this. Sony could answer this question by the time I upload this or whatever, but that is something that's going on right now on the PlayStation Store, so it looks like Sony's already actively working on getting the service ready, if that's what it is. So let's talk a little bit about The Last Guardian, that game that was announced back in 2009 for the PlayStation 3 and has been in development hell ever since, and we still don't know if it's ever going to come or what platform it's going to come for. Scott Rhodey of Sony was talking to IGN, and he said that he is honored that people are still interested in the game, and that, he gave a lot of the standard PR answer, like, we were humbled that people still want to know about it. I can't talk about the game, really. He also said he can't say what platform it's on, which, again, is making me think, okay, this game definitely had to have shifted development to PS4, or at the very least, it's coming out on both platforms. Hopefully we'll see this game soon, but there's the next little update I can give you in regards to The Last Guardian. And while we're talking about games that have been delayed and we don't know where they are, Sony also talked a little bit about Driveclub, and they more or less said they went back to the drawing board on the game. What they're saying is they looked at it, and they give, again, standard PR answer. They look at a game, they think, you know, this is not what we want to ship. We don't want to ship an incomplete game. We don't want to ship a game that isn't fun, or, you know, we can make it better. We can do this with it. We can do that with it. And, you know, they're saying that they're going back to fix it up and make it better. And, you know, that's just, you know, the kind of answer you'd expect, really. The reason why I mention this, though, this specific title and the story, is because for a while now we've been talking about the rumor of Sony's virtual reality headset, and that Driveclub is being tested with it, and that Driveclub might be re-revealed with the virtual headset. And now there's a lot more evidence to that going to be happening. I don't remember if we talked about this last week or the week before, but Game Developers Conference, GDC. GDC happens every year. Sony always goes every year. They always like to talk about new technologies, or they'll host panels, or they'll sometimes announce stuff. And they're hosting a panel this year, and the panel is called Innovation at PlayStation. Now, you might initially think, like, oh, this might be just a panel where it's super boring and Sony just blows smoke up their ass saying, look at all of our great products and look at why you should buy them. But really, we might be seeing the announcement of the virtual reality headset for the PlayStation 4. The people that will be at this panel is Shuhei Yoshida, you know, Sony Worldwide Studios. We know Shuhei at this point. But two other interesting gentlemen are going to be there. Senior Director Richard Marks and Senior Software Engineer Anton Mikhailov. I probably pronounced his last name wrong. These two guys are going to be there. Now, if you don't know who these two gentlemen are, they, I feel like Sony keeps these guys in like a dungeon somewhere, and they only come out every 5 years to show the world what they've been working on. What these two gentlemen have always been working on, and what they're always credited with, is working on the, you know, basically the experimental technology. They were credited with the PlayStation Eye for the PS2, PlayStation Move for PlayStation 3, the PlayStation Eye for PlayStation 3, the light bar, you know, they probably worked on the touchpad, surely they worked on the camera, the motion tracking, all that kind of stuff that isn't related to regular gaming with a controller and the regular console and game development. Like, these guys work on all that experimental stuff, the motion sensing stuff, all that, you know. And considering they've been at Sony for how long, I'm sure they've worked on dozens of projects that never see the light of day because they're always experimenting and trying different things and seeing where they can go. Sometimes Sony will bring these guys on stage to finally show the world what they've been doing. They're going to be there. And, like, I don't know for sure, of course. This is speculation. Please don't take my word for it. But if these two guys are going to be out there, and they're going to be out in the public, and they're going to be with Shuhei Yoshida, the, you know, event's called Innovation at PlayStation, and there's this rumor about Driveclub being demoed with virtual reality, I think for sure we're finally going to see this thing front and center, and they're finally going to show it. And then at E3 you'll probably see some hands-on stuff, and they'll do it, you know, it'll be at the presentation on the show floor. You'll be able to try this thing on. There's too many rumors to say that this thing isn't happening, so I definitely think it's going to happen, and I think we're going to see it soon. The panel starts March 18th. It's going to be March 18th, so we'll see it then if I'm right and if this happens. And to sort of back up this little claim and prediction I have, Edge Online has a little rumor going around. They have some sources close to them saying that some developers already have the hardware. They have the virtual reality headset. They have to get it early, because how else are they going to work on it and make games for it? So, everything seems to be all falling in place, so I think this is definitely going to happen. And if it isn't shown at GDC, then we'll probably see it at E3. But I think for sure this is happening, and we'll probably see it soon, so VR, man, it's like, it might be coming, you know, Sony's working on it, so are you interested? Do you want to see more of it? Is it going to be good? This could be a big this could be a big thing for Sony. If they could pull this off and do it right, this could be a huge thing for them. Keyword on could. This could be big for them. They could do something with it. But a lot of times, from, you know, in Sony's history, they have a really good idea going into something, but they just let it fall to the ground, or they don't support it, they don't market it properly, or something. So hopefully it's good. Hopefully, we'll have to wait and see. Just have to wait. That concludes this week's episode of Let's Talk PlayStation. I'm Ryan Panecki. Thank you so much for talking with me. And if this does happen March 18th, if they do announce the VR headset, I will probably do a video. I don't know. I have to see where my time is and work and stuff like that. But we'll probably, if they do announce it, I'll probably do something. So I'll see you then.